Hello. Hello. I might be here on my own, but that's okay. People will join in a moment. I'm blown away by the amount of information that is coming through around September. It is explosive and massive and incredible for us personally and as the planet. So let me begin. I'm going to be reading the notes because that's all I can keep up with. So we are at this point where breakthrough is about to be reached, or has been reached and breached actually, and in the nitty gritty end parts now. Hi Charlotte, welcome. Lovely to have you here. So I was just saying that it's a bit mind-blowing how much information is coming through. So yeah, so this from Gaia, this came through on the 11th. Hi Denise. There's this sense of our coming so close to this movement, this shifting over. There really is. And then on top of that, it's quite incredible. So well, firstly, I'll just say that in terms of, so we're the 12th today. So the Queen died on the 9th New Zealand time. We had this interesting energy, I think yesterday. Let me just think about that. Yeah, yesterday felt like the void. It felt as though we didn't have any energy. It felt empty. It felt like we were in 0 point. And when I tuned in and spoke to Gaia about that, she said it was because it was like this vacuum effect. It was that the acknowledgement to the public of the Queen leaving, it had a whole lot of effects. But one of the effects that it had was a bit like all the air got sucked out of the room. All of the air got sucked out of the world, and this was the negative energy, the binding, holding overlay. So that was what happened. So it broke the seal. It blew it open for the level of light that was able to come to the planet suddenly changed, and the negativity left. So about half of it left as it pulled out. So I'll begin and tell you. So this is what I got on Sunday from Gaia. It is with much gratitude that I celebrate yours and my graduation. So this is to all of the people of our earth. We are in transition to our new era, a new beginning for our higher evolution as both species and as planet. As this month we will witness much in the physical and feel much in the emotional. There is this dual motion of release and receipt, personal and planet. And in the physical world, we will observe exposure and egress of many, both beings and systems and structures, as this light highlights much of what can now be shown, with the negative overlay being shifted. So initially you may feel as though you have been awakened from a deep sleep, that you are in something new, yet you cannot put your finger on it. You are in something new. The experience you are challenged to be able to describe, Gaia says, is because it is that there is a substantial energetic movement off the planet, thereby a new and different experience. There's this newness to it. This newness is of something missing. So it's as though the negative aspect got sucked off the planet, and Gaia said about half of it gone. So over this month and beyond, you will continue to experience this, but on a more gradual, incremental level. So on a daily level or bit by bit, we will be releasing more of the negative. So on a personal level and planetary, and pulling in more of this light. So in your own personal physical vessel, you will be in motion of releasing and receiving light each day. And so it's recommended that you do that in a conscious way until eventually you are emanating light from your heart space and physical bodies. So we're not being told that that's going to happen in a minute, but that's the process we are working towards. Hello, welcome Jen and Cherish Earth. So this is our movement, and I don't know whether it's every day or whether it's every few days, but we are going to be, tossing out and pulling in on a regular basis. It's an incremental experience. It's not a time-based transition, but you will notice there is less resistance in your world, that in the arising of experiences for release, that your healing will be easier and quicker, that you will begin to feel more free, more open, more light, and in and with greater love. As your heart space expands and your life is guided from your internal and higher guidance through the heart, you will more and more seek experiences that bring joy and are heart-led, as approved or opposed, I beg your pardon, as opposed to being mind-driven. And so this is not just going to be your experience. This is going to be the moving experience of the collective. They'll be moving into that. She says, please enjoy this new energy as a feeling experience rather than a tempting cognitive understanding. Our new era has begun, and we have released much from the planet. The shadow overlay of the dark agenda has been dissolved, and we will now incrementally clean in-house. So you will notice that fear, worry, anxiety will become less present in your life as truth, openness, freedom, and love begin to rule the day. The GAIA is saying each morning when you awaken, please spend a few moments contemplating and being in gratitude for your own heart and the love it holds. Then send this to yourself until you have a broad smile on your face. And next, send it out to your household, to your community, to the country, to the world. And be sure to include nature and all species in this morning salutation. And GAIA says blessings and love and gratitude for your service. So personally, yesterday for me felt very much as though the energy had been sucked out of the room, like I said. Today, though, it started to feel, it was like I couldn't feel anything. It was really like being in the void, like being in a vacuum. But it started to come in towards the evening. I was like, I can feel energy now. It was a very unusual experience for me. I'm interested to know what your experience was yesterday, if you had a similar time really trying to fathom it. And today there is this higher frequency, and I am feeling, when I wrote this morning, this exquisite energy in my higher heart. So are you being pulled to mission, to purpose? I invite you to ask yourself, what would be your heart's greatest desire? So just invite you to take a moment to take a breath, to place your hands on your heart, to close your eyes, and to imagine and allow your inner vision to take you to this place, to imagine that you are doing what you most love to do. and to not get too caught up with anything other than the feeling of that, and to notice how you feel, where you feel it. Does it have heat? And I invite you to tune into that at the end of your morning salutation. Charlotte saying she was trying to upload wedding menus and couldn't get it together, felt tired, then the same thing happened. I started feeling great later and got all achieved. Fantastic. I know, I was a total sloth until later in the evening. I don't know if I did anything other than drink water. No, not really. I had a lot of jobs on, but I just didn't do them. So this energy is going to get more light filled every day now. So this is very interesting. This is what I was seeing, but saw more clearly at the end of, at the end of the 11th, and I wrote that up this morning. So the passing of the Queen created a flip to release the overlay that overshadowed humanity and kept a lid on the amount of light that could be held on the planet. Her death broke the seal on that. So I wasn't quite sure what the seal was, but I did get that that there had been a seal broken, that it was due to her death, and that there was this massive shadow dark energy that left with her. Oh, and I should tell you, so in my work in the Akash, I just quietly I banged into the Queen there, but I think, well, it was definitely in March, and I think it was 2018. I remember having a conversation with somebody about it, and she was standing beside me at the entrance to the Halls of Records, and I looked at her and I said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And at that moment, Lord Melchizedek, who is he's the leader of the Order of Melchizedek, or Melchizedek, some people say it that way. And he is, I see him as my spiritual father, if you like, and he's one of the lords of the Akash. And so he invited her, and I've never ever in all the years that I've gone to the Akash on a regular basis, most days, ever banged into anybody else wanting to enter at the same time as me. And I don't have any connection to the Queen in any personal way. So it was very significant to me. And he said to me, Lord Melchizedek said, and she went off into a room that I've never been into in the Akash, and I wasn't even aware that it existed. So if you go into the Akash and you go in the way that I go in through the sliding smoky glass wall, she went over to the right at the back of the building into a room there, and I didn't even know there was a room there. And he said she's come for her review. So that to me meant that she had passed back then, and I know that there's a bit of floating around stuff around that now, but yeah, that's my take on that. So I think it was March 2018, to be honest, but it might have been the year after or the year before. I'm pretty sure it was prior to 2020. So Gaia says, now we can clean up in a deeper and more final way, there was release of a huge percentage of shadow on that day. And today I got that was 50%. Half of the shadow existing on the planet left the planet on that day. And during the month, this will continue as more shadow will be leaving and more light coming. As stated earlier, this month will go by rapidly. The old, outmoded, defunct ways of operating will be seen. The way in which humanity has been held and bound by rigid rules, by ways of conduct with lack and limitation, that is shifting out in the physical now. And this collapsing like a house of cards falling effect that we spoke of the other day, and the many mic drop moments that made me laugh when she said that we would have many mic drop moments during this month of September and into October. That yes, the percentage of negative energy out was about 50% on the 9th of the 9th, which is why on the 10th or the 11th, we felt it as this vacuum. Much truth will come out over the next few months, but don't expect all of it. She has always spoken about there would only be enough for people to make the shift. And when I spoke to Creator, Father, God, a little while ago, not that long ago, he said that Ascension would take priority, remember, over this reveal of the truth over disclosure. And so as soon as massive disclosure comes about, we're going to lose frequency, and that's not what we want at this time. So vibration and frequency are key here and take priority. And so this is what we're going to be in for. But don't see it as fear-mongering and scaremongering, because it's not. It's just the reality of what we'll be experiencing. So think about this in terms of your own body and the planetary body. Great storms, electrical storms, and downpours, the biblical end. Some of this is playing out as there is a collective energy holding this. The come to God moment, the return of the Christ, may show up as an explosion of light in the hearts of many. Many ascended masters may show up during this time. The Telosians and the Agarthians are preparing to ascend to the surface in bigger numbers to assist at this time. There will be more frequent sightings of angels and angelic forms in the sky to be seen. There'll be more pillars and shafts of light, as previously mentioned. Some was one of the things that Gaia said we would witness over this time, is these pillars of light, these shafts of light. And somebody who watches my YouTube videos has already seen some of that. And of course, Gaia said 3 volcanic eruptions this month. We've already had one. And I actually think we've had a second one in the last couple of days, but I can't remember where. Earthquakes, shudders, volcanic eruptions as Earth shudders and shakes in removal of density. And so this will be happening for us as well. All this in preparation, clearing, cleansing, and release for our ascension. And I need to come back to that. So 1111, she says, marks the beginning of our ascension process as individuals. The first portal of ascension is then on that date, the 11th of November. Those who are ready, and look, I don't have my head around all of this. It seems to be very similar to what she's always said to me, but with a slight shift. I'll see if I can explain what I understand about it. So she's saying those who are ready will ascend through this portal into 5-dimensional frequency as individuals or as a group. They will then collectively hold that frequency, calling in the rest of humanity through a higher constant resonance and that will form a halo around the planet. This group will be responsible for maintaining this frequency to assist the ascension process. So you may be one of those. And oh yeah, this is what I meant to start with. So I shall close with it, I guess. So when I visited with Gaia in her cave this morning, she had a desk and she was sitting behind the desk, and I was standing in front of her. She was sitting at the desk with pen and a plan and speaking to me of this final component, the adjustments and fine-tuning of the process. She looked up at me and smiled. It's a weary and gentle smile of satisfaction. This has been a hard journey for her. So this spiral is the spiral of ascension, and always it has shown up to me as this, that we would ascend individually, that would become a group, that would become the collective, that would become humanity, that would become, or that would become collectives, and then that would become the major collective, and that would become the planet. And we are doing that. But now what's happening is that there's this energy shift out. So there's this negative energy that shifted out with the Queen's passing, or with the announcement of the Queen passing. So this has done that breaking of the seal, that allowing it to shift out, and that now it's as though those who are ready, so it's now happening, there's this incremental ascension going on, and the first serious portal of that is the 11th of November. You may be one of the individuals that goes through in that time. So those who are ready, and in a way, many people are awakened. And remember, we came here for this. So those of us who might be in this first wave of ascension, we came here for this time to help the collective, but everybody who's here on the planet came for this celebration, for this moment, and some just might need a bit of assistance. And so what she's saying is that frequency-wise, some will go through that portal, hold the frequency, hold the resonance, and that will be pulling people towards that. They'll be kind of magnetized towards that frequency, that fifth dimensional space, and that will drag people through more, so we can have this kind of constant streaming, really, until there's enough for the whole planet to ascend into that fifth dimensional space. And all of that to me feels very, very close. It's an incremental, and it's not time related, it's frequency related. So the better that we can hold our frequency, the better that we can do any tidying up of work that we've got to do. So you are invited to just be feeling in. Is there anything here for me? Is there any work for me to do, to release? Any wounding for me to heal? What does my heart wish to tell me? Where do I want to go? What will be my my intentional holdings of the energy of what I want to be in, and what am I going to be doing there? What's going to be my role? And then how can I do that? How can I maintain that? So it's being in connection with nature, it's meditating, it's connecting into your heart, into your soul, being in alignment and being guided by that. I think that's all really. But yeah, it is. It's blowing me away just how busy September is. Guys said it would be like that there would just be this ongoing energy shifts, and that we would just see more and more and more. And as she said, we'll see lots of mic drops. So, that will also shift into October. But it feels, it doesn't feel to me like we are going to be well, let me put it another way. It feels to me that it's very unlikely that we will not have ascended by the end of March 2023. So ever since I started working with Spirit and working with Gaia, I was showing that 2025 would be the midway point. That would be the time where we had, and we're working with destructuring and rebuilding, reinventing ourselves in terms of the way that we work as people, as a planet. That's shifted, and that's shifted much closer now. So she's saying now that by 2025 we're likely to have completed our rebuild, and it's we're in the flow of it, and our role is just to hold it. So no promises, but she's saying it's very, very close. So yep. We could, I think it's possible that we could ascend by the end of the year as a planet into a fifth dimensional bandwidth and space. But all we can do is do what we're doing and do our own individual work. So I send you much love as we move through this time. It's going to go really, really quickly now. Feel free to, come in on the thread and share any kind of things that you witness that are happening. Some of the things that I see come through Telegram, and Telegram is I can't figure out how to move things from Telegram to another platform. Anyway, lots of love. And I'll speak again soon. Hi, Melanie, Tina, and Jen. And Kinsey. Hello. Thanks for joining me, everyone.